We're closed.
You don't look the sort who can afford to turn down legitimate work.
What do you want?
How about we start with a light?
Single-player DLC is not exactly what it should be. All too often, developers cut corners in an effort to deliver the same kind of profit margins that comparatively cheap multiplayer map packs yield, and that's when single-player editions are attempted at all. Given the fact that the narrative is what has come to define the Bioshock franchise, fans have been eager to see what Irrational Games would produce for Burial at Sea. Infinite's first expansion was an arena combat-focused affair that rewarded players with trinkets for enduring repetitive waves of enemies, and by doing so, entirely avoided what makes Bioshock such a revered franchise. Returning to Rapture, Burial at Sea strengthens the connection that Infinite's characters have to Andrew Ryan's sunken dystopia. It's a two-part tale that promises to be equal parts fan service and classic Bioshock.
Well, you got a name, miss?
Elizabeth. You can call me Elizabeth.
What can I do for you?
There's a girl who needs to be found. Maybe you've seen her.
This girl's dead.
You know her.
You'll see dozens of her tied down by the docks or the slums in Apollo Square. Orphans, with Fontaine's charity shut. No place for them.
But her you know.
As I said, girl's dead.
Lost.
Look, I don't know where you get...
Lost isn't dead. Name your rate, I will pay you for this work. But you do this one gratis, wouldn't you?
I don't follow.
Something tells me you will.
Straight away, it's apparent that Irrational Games has not compromised the production values of Burial at Sea, in the way that many single-player add-ons have in the past. Full voiceovers have been recorded, and given its new setting, assets from Columbia have not been reused.
Close. Ain't you playing the ponies no more? You're too good for the boys at the track now.
Burial at Sea feels like a proper standalone title. Elaborately animated sequences involving iconic characters from previous games reinforce the notion that this is a no-expense-spared affair. The tale begins as Elizabeth enters Booker's dark, smoke-filled office. The two don't seem to recognize one another as Elizabeth hires Booker to locate a girl named Sally. This task sparks vague flashbacks for Booker that not even the stiffest of drinks will drive away. Its classic noir-inspired opening makes a strong impression, and exploring a thriving Rapture is a real treat. It doesn't take long, however, for the warm color palette to abate, and the familiar, cool blue and green tones to take over as the plot moves to a sunken, splicer-filled department store. It's a shame the intro sequence is so brief. It could have easily been expanded upon, adding gameplay mechanics befitting Booker's vocation, further defining Burial at Sea as a unique chapter in the Bioshock franchise. Your trek through the submerged department store is made more perilous due to the fact that it has been sunk by Andrew Ryan, and the pressure has destroyed some of the structure, making passage difficult. The only people left in the abandoned store are splicers. Interestingly enough, Burial at Sea severely constrains how much ammo you have at any given time, and forces players to mix up plasmids, gunplay, and a bit of stealth. In doing so, combat has become a bit more interesting, as groups of 4 or 5 splicers present some challenge on a tight ammo and EVE budget. To deal with such threats, players are given access to the Old Man Winter plasmid, which freezes enemies so that they can be shattered, and the radar range. The radar range is pretty much a microwave gun that allows you to cook enemies until they explode like hot dogs, with their bodily shrapnel damaging enemies in the vicinity. It's a nifty toy, but it doesn't find its way into Booker's hands until the last quarter of the episode. The first episode is brief, around 3 hours if you delve into every nook and cranny, and unfortunately, the only real plot point comes at the end. It's a bit of a doozy, however, and will make waiting for the next episode seem like an eternity. Burial at Sea is a beautifully constructed slice of content that is much better representative of what players love about Bioshock than Clash in the Clouds. The new focus on resource management is an excellent gameplay tweak, though it's a shame that the opening wasn't bolstered by new mechanics that capitalize on Booker's private eye skill set. For Bioshock fans, being reunited with classic Bioshock characters and being part of a new chapter in Booker and Elizabeth's story will be well worth the price of admission. Those who weren't exactly thrilled by Infinite, however, might want to wait to see how the second episode shakes out in order to decide whether it's a return to Rapture that they want to be a part
My
of.
instincts were correct.
Where's Sally?
I don't know, but I know someone who